Good morning, everybody. Good early afternoon. This is Scott in the Shot, Scott the Great. This little podcast I'm doing right now, it's a little show. I want to talk about JFK and the food that we're eating every day as a society that's causing problems. I don't believe that. I know that we have ultra processed foods, and there's a lot of things in foods that cause problems for people later on in life. But you know what I noticed different about? Here's my beautiful wife. You know what I know. Good morning. You know what I noticed different? What's different about today's world that we live in, people? It's not back when I was growing up. They didn't. My parents. We ate all the way till the time I graduated high school. We ate together. I mean, breakfast we usually ate together if my parents were home and they weren't at work. But at dinner time, we had dinner time at 4 to 4:30 every night as a family. And my mother would make a full course meal every night, and she made sure it was ready for my father when he got home from work. When he got home from work, he wasn't in the house for more than 5 minutes before that dinner was on the table and ready to go. But when I was growing up, my parents allowed me to have one soda in the daytime and then one soda at night, a can of soda. That was it. Now, if when I got a job or I had an allowance, if I wanted to go do something, buy something at the store, or something, they allowed me to do that. But going to the refrigerator and just eating what you wanted whenever you wanted in between meals, it wasn't allowed when I was growing up. And kids didn't really dwell on it because that's just how you were always raised. You had to ask your parents if it was okay to go get something to eat. So the problem with today's world is people that kids are eating whatever they want, whenever they want, and the parents don't really pay attention to it. They don't. A lot of families anymore don't sit at home and eat dinner together. They're not a home cooked meal. They're always eating out at McDonald's. My wife is a McDonald's manager, and there's people that go in there every night. She says the same people buying kids meals for their kids. They don't cook no more. So even in the things that you cook, though, they have things in them. I mean, they have hamburger. It has the same stuff in it that the hamburgers have at McDonald's. I mean, so there are things being put in our food that preservatives and all that preservatives. Yeah. I'm buzzing, but I mean things that different food colorings and all that. That if you eat a certain amount of that every day, in time will hurt your body. But it's not really. The people that make these foods that have these preservatives in them and stuff like that to make them last longer, and these colors that they add to make the coloring for them. I don't think in their mind they're purposely trying to fuck our kids over or try to make us unhealthy. What's making us unhealthy is we eat whenever we want. There's no 3-course meals no more. It's people eating what they want whenever they want, including children, without being supervised on what they're eating. That's why we have obesity in this. There's an obesity problem in this country right now, especially with the young kids like you've never seen before. Because parents don't care what they eat no more. They're not cooking meals for their kids no more, and they allow them to go to the fridge, to the cupboard, to the cabinets, and get whatever they want out of there. When I was growing up, every now and then my parents would buy something that was Hostess or something like a box of cupcakes or something like that, but it wasn't a daily thing because it wasn't healthy. And as a family, we eat together every day. So I mean, that's what I think about this health thing that's going on in this country with what we're eating. I don't think the things that they're putting in these foods is really that bad for. They're not good for you, but they're not super bad for you if you're eating 3 square meals a day and some of them are home cooked and you're not overeating. You're not overeating, and you get outside and get some exercise. These cell phones and all this technology, people today, our kids are eating stuff, but they're not working it off. They're not outside playing. They're not getting exercise. They're not burning calories to get these things out of their body, so they gain weight. And then when you gain weight, especially at a young age, when you become obese, it's hard to lose it. But then you have all kinds of negative effects on a growing body that's trying to find its way to maturity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so we have to watch what our kids are eating, but more than that, we have to watch how much they're eating. And we need to get back to the days where families have at least dinner time together, sitting at a table where the parents can get off their cell phones long enough to make a 3-course meal for their family, and sometimes a dessert and sometimes not. My mom used to make a dessert that once or twice a week. She'd make something for a dessert, and me and my brother was always excited. Yeah, mom, we saw this on TV. She made it, but it wasn't something that we ate every day. It was a treat. You know what I mean? It was a treat because if you eat that way all the time, it's bad for you. And back in the day, people knew that without having to be schooled like I'm trying to school you right now. You got to watch what you eat, but more importantly, you got to watch how much you eat, the portions of it, and not snacking in between. And the most important part of it all is going outside as a child and being active and burning those calories and that food out of your body. I truly believe that, people. The laziness of our country has got of society has gotten so lazy that, I mean, with technology, that nobody's, I mean, some do, but a lot of kids aren't learning that from their parents, the importance of exercise and managing how much you eat every day, not drinking sodas all day long, not just going over to the cabinet and being able to pull out a Twinkie or a cupcake every 5 minutes when their parents are at work. I mean, we have to teach our kids responsibility even when it comes to eating and how much they eat. And that starts with the parents. I don't blame the kids, I blame the parents. And I don't blame these manufacturers of food because they're not the ones that are making us eat this much. They're the ones that are they're not the ones changing the foods that you serve at the dinner table. They're not the ones that are saying that are saying you can go snack whenever you want. It's the parents. So we have to start with that. We have to start with trying to make sure we don't buy all those sweets for the kids, so they're right there in the cabinet all day long, especially if you're at work and you're not at home to monitor it. I mean, but we have to make sure that our kids are eating properly, not overeating, and then taking that device out of their hands and making them go play. I mean, sometimes you have to make them go play because society is telling them they don't have to. Society is telling these kids, our government and society as a whole, that they don't have to listen to that. But they do. They're children, they're kids. They're supposed to learn from their parents. I mean, and the parents need to be allowed, the government needs to allow the parents to raise their kids in the manner they see fit as long as it's not abusive. I'm talking physical abuse. Kids need to stay in line and they need to realize that they're being taught. They're not born an adult. They become an adult from the way from their age and how they act and how they acted out in society. It's very important. That's why this schools closures really pissed me off. Kids have to learn to interact with each other and play with each other and burn off calories and think for themselves. I mean, but they're not going to get that if they're being coddled by society, by their parents, and letting them do whatever they want. I mean, we need to bring back where parents can be spanked by their children when they're not obeying their parents, and as long as it's not overkill, make it so where it's not a crime. It's a crime anymore if you spank your kid and they call it, even if it wasn't a bad spanking, they call the cops and have you arrested. I mean, what is wrong with that picture? We're supposed to be raising kids and teaching them, not letting them have the same rights as an adult right out of the womb. It's like the Democratic Party. They want these kids to vote. They want kids from the age of 14 or something like that I saw a thing on. They want them to vote. They want prisoners and that committed murder in jails to vote. When they lost their rights, that's why they're in prison. We have to get back to the real things that make America healthy and our families healthy. And it starts with family interaction, kids interacting, and us monitoring what they eat and trying to give them a head start out the gate and be healthy. We need to stop with all the snacking. We need to stop with all the trips to McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's. And we need to stop giving those people our money because you're too lazy to make a home cooked meal for your kids. I mean that's not going to solve the problem, but it's a good start. You know what I'm saying? It's a good start to get back to family values and get back to teaching kids the proper way to eat, the amounts they need to eat, and stress the importance of exercise. It's not done no more, people. Some kids already are. Not all every parent's a bad parent. I'm just saying, but there's a lot of parents that really don't think much of what I'm saying because they just think it's not a big deal. But it is a big deal. We have an epidemic in this country of a lot of things, a lot of epidemics going on right now with drugs, with our government being liars. But we have an epidemic with our kids not learning, the kids not learning how to eat properly and how to exercise properly and how to intermingle with each other properly. That is where we're failing. And if those kids don't learn those at a certain age, then they get older and the whole cycle starts all over again. Like I said, people, when I was growing up, we didn't have those rights. My mom had the right. I had the right to do what I was told, or my mom would smack the shit out of me. And that wasn't child abuse. I will never sit here and say all the times I got smacked in the mouth from mouthing off to my mom that was wrong. It never hurt me that bad. My mother was trying to teach me how to show respect to the parents and to elder and to an adult, because they are not an adult yet. They have to learn the difference between a child and an adult before they can be an adult, and they have to show that through their actions and how they eat and how they conduct themselves out in the real world. So that's what I got to say about this little short edition of Scott in a Shot. My grandkids will be here any minute. But everything I talk to you people about, I talk to my kids about, I talk to my grandkids about. And remember this, people, you can't talk to kids like they're children. You can, but you have to talk to them with respect also. And whenever you're trying to teach them something, let them know you're not just lecturing them, that you're trying to teach them a valuable lesson that's going to follow them for the rest of their lives. And the most important thing about that is eating properly and exercise. It's a sad day in the world when kids are 10 years old, 12 years old, and they're diabetic. They're having all these health issues at such a young age because they're just fat and obese and lazy. So people, let's start loving our kids more. Let's love them enough to where you can get off your cell phone long enough to cook them a meal and sit at that table as a family and with a 3-course meal and let's stop the soda drinking. Let's get back to the waters, the Gatorades, and let's realize that our kids aren't as healthy. Kids have to be made to be healthy. They're not just going to be naturally healthy. They have to eat right. They have to exercise, and they need guidance from their parents. You're not going to get that kind of guidance from our government, obviously. So we have to get it from our parents. The problems that we're having in this world, a lot of it is parents are allowing the government to set the guidance for those kids. No, 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 no. It's not their job. The job of guiding those kids through life is the parents. So let's hope you're a good parent. Let's hope you hear what I'm saying to you. I mean, I'm not the best guy in the world, people. I'm talking from experience and all the mistakes that I've made. Let's stop making these mistakes and let's start raising our kids at least to be active and healthy with the way they eat. And it's a starting point. It's just a starting point, people. It's just a starting point to see if we can change something out of the gate. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, it's not rocket science, but we have to watch what our kids are eating, what they're watching, what they're hearing, and we have to make them exercise. Take that damn phone away from them, turn off that computer, and make them go to the park and play. Play baseball, play kickball, play volleyball. Go out and play cops and robbers. Ride your bikes. Do something that makes you healthy. From the time I was 10 years old till the time I got my driver's license when I was 16, I was on my bike. I was on my BMX bike out riding around having fun. Those are hard things to find anymore for a lot of kids. They don't do that no more. I had to threaten my kids with jail time almost to get them to go outside and play when they were growing up because society's telling them they don't have to. But they have to. They have to if they want to be healthy, if you care about your kids' health when they get older. Man, if you're a parent that has a kid who's obese and is diagnosed at 12 years old, 15 years old for being diabetic, shame on you. That is on you. You just gave your kid a disease because you don't even want to monitor how they eat or how they play. And that can't happen. That means you're a bad parent. If you don't care that your kid gets out of high school with an education and good health, then I don't know what to say to you people. Let's get back to family values and let's get back to teaching our kids what's going to make them better and healthier in life. We can start there and then we can work with all these other problems. But when it comes to our kids, we have to realize they're kids and we need to treat them as such. They are kids. They don't have the right to tell you what they want to eat or if they want to go out and play. You have to force them to do it. And after a while, if you do that from the beginning, you won't have to force none of it. Like my parents didn't have to force me to be that way. That's how I was raised. We ate dinner every night together as a family, and on the weekends we had breakfast together as a family. Our lunch is different, but we weren't allowed to just run and eat whenever the fuck we wanted, eat whatever we wanted, drink as much soda as we want. I mean, that is the problem we're having in this country right now when it comes to the health of our children. They have to be healthier, people. If you want your kid to have a good, meaningful life, let's start off with teaching them how to respect you and respect themselves with how they eat and how they're trying to maintain their healthy body. This is Scott in a Shot. I'm out here. I won't be back today. People have a great day. Once again, happy holidays. Merry effing Christmas. I love you guys and have a great day.